Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a shortcut, really, into the mind of 17th century England. Think chaos, civil war, just profound uncertainty.
Yeah, and our guide through all that is William Lilly. His huge work, Christian Astrology from 1647, wasn't just, horoscopes. It was trying to bring cosmic order.
Exactly. It was pitched as this complete worldview, a technical manual for, well, for life, basically.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack this system. You'll see the honestly stunning level of detail and the kind of authority Lilly claimed just by reading the stars. It gives you real context for why this book became so essential back then.
And that authority point is crucial, isn't it? Lilly wasn't just making things up.
No, not at all. He framed it as restoring classical wisdom. He's constantly referencing the giants Ptolemy, Albalthazar, Cardan, even Trismegistus.
So he's building on this established history, claiming that pedigree.
Definitely. It was presented as rigorous science, an antidote to all the anxiety and information overload of the time. People needed anchors.
A contemporary, John Booker, even wrote that if the old masters were alive, they might come learn again from Lilly. High praise.
It really was. This was serious knowledge, especially when the political world was, well, literally tearing itself apart.
Okay, so let's get into the man himself, William Lilly. Born 1602, Leicestershire.
Right, and he had a bit of a rough start. He admits living in penury and discontent until he got to London around 1620. And he didn't even start studying astrology until 1632, so a late bloomer in that sense.
But how did he support himself? Wasn't there something about an inheritance?
Yes, kind of strange twist. His master, Gilbert Wright, died in 1627, and Lilly got this annuity, £20 a year.
20 pounds. So the guy who mapped the cosmos relied on basically an inheritance from a death to get started.
Pretty much. That yearly sum gave him the stability, the time, really, to dive into this massive project.
But income is one thing. What about getting recognized? He talks about a restoration of astrology.
Ah, yes. That pivotal moment seems to be February 1643. He meets this noble gentleman, a lawyer, a counselor at law.
And this guy was key.
Absolutely instrumental, according to Lilly. His alone generosity and countenance was what launched him. Lilly's very pragmatic about it, says without this patron, his carcass and conceptions had been buried in eternal silence. Ouch.
Strong words. And this is all happening smack in the middle of the English Civil War. He wasn't exactly hiding away, was he?
Not at all. He was right in it and navigating it carefully. He said he ever loved monarchy, but crucially, still thought without a parliament preserved in their just rights, it would vanish.
That's walking a fine line. Supporting the monarchy, but also parliament's rights during a civil war.
A very dangerous line. But he made himself useful. His astrology wasn't just abstract, it was like wartime intelligence.
How so? What kind of things did he predict?
Specific military stuff. He gave judgments on battles involving Sir William Waller and Sir Ralph Hopton. He even weighed in on whether Cambridge had been taken a big question at the time.
And the Siege of Reading. That's a famous one, right?
Yes, the Earl of Essex's siege. Lilly casts a chart, predicts Essex will succeed, but gets incredibly specific. He says the surrender will come through composition rather than blood. Negotiation, basically.
And he timed it.
8 days after he set the figure. And he pinpointed why he saw a future division amongst officers in the chart. So predicting the outcome, the method, and the timing based on internal conflict, that's impressive detail.
He wasn't afraid to make judgments about people either, was he? Like Prince Rupert.
No, he went right after him. Prince Rupert was absent, and Lilly judged he'd gain no honor, fall into hatred and malice, all because of his own perverseness and folly.
Wow, that's a public takedown using astrology. Shows the kind of influence he had, or at least aimed for.
Exactly. And this ability to analyze everything, from wars to character, brings us to the heart of his system. Horary astrology.
Okay, horary. Explain that.
Yeah.
It's tailored to the person asking.
Precisely. It's all about the querent, that's you, the person with the question. The entire system hinges on the exact moment you ask, or rather, the moment the astrologer understands the question.
So how do you capture that moment? What tools does Lilly use?
Right, you need two main things and some calculation. First, the ephemeris.
Ephemeris sounds technical.
It is, a bit. It's basically tables showing the exact positions of the planets every day, usually at noon. Like he provides one for January 1646 in the book. Astronomical data, essentially.
Okay, so planet positions, what's the second thing?
The table of houses. This depends on your location, your latitude. It divides the sky as seen from that specific place into the 12 astrological houses.
So the ephemeris is universal what time is it cosmically? And the table of houses is, what does that look like from here?
Exactly. You need both to erect a figure, to draw that unique celestial map for the moment of the question. Without that figure, you can't make a judgment.
And once you have that map, those 12 houses, they cover everything.
Literally everything. It's designed as a universal index for human life. The first house, the ascendant, that's your body, your face, your general vibe and actions.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Well, the third house covers siblings, short trips, news, rumors, sort of local connections and communication.
And the fifth?
The fifth is interesting. It's children, yes, but also parties, entertainment, plays, and, get this, the wealth of your father.
Your father's wealth is in the 5th house.
Yeah, okay, that's specific.
It's all categorized. Then you have the 10th house, the midheaven, the peak of the chart. That's big stuff. Kings, rulers, your mother, your career, honor, public standing.
Right, the public-facing part of life. What about the less pleasant stuff?
Oh, that often falls into the 12th house. This one's a real grab bag of 17th century anxieties. Private enemies, sorrow, prisons, and witches.
Witches are in the 12th, along with prisons.
And also, strangely, great cattle horses, oxen, your major livestock.
Wait, witches, prisons, and cows? What's the connection there? Think about it from their perspective. It's all about unseen threats to your security and livelihood. Hidden enemies, loss of freedom, supernatural attack, or losing your most valuable farm assets. It's an inventory of vulnerability for that time.
That actually makes a dark kind of sense. The level of detail is wild. Didn't he claim he could even find physical marks on people?
Yes, using the first house again. Moles, scars, blemishes.
How on earth did that work?
It's based on the degree of the zodiac sign rising on the ascendant cusp. If it's just a few degrees into the sign, the mark is high up on the part of the body ruled by that sign. Middle degrees, middle part, later degrees, lower part.
So the exact minute the question is asked determines the location of a mole.
According to Lilly, yes. He claims he verified it in hundreds of examples.
Yeah.
That's the kind of granular precision this system offered, or claimed to offer.
Okay, so we have the houses as the map sections. What about the planets? They're not just points of light, are they?
Not at all. Each planet has a distinct personality, a specific nature that influences whatever it rules in the chart.
Give me an example, like Saturn.
Right, Saturn. He's described as cold and dry, lead in color. So he signifies desolate places, deserts, ruins, coal mines, graveyards, and also, fittingly, very old, decrepit men.
Gloomy. What about Jupiter?
Jupiter's the opposite, really. Temperate, balanced, sanguine, associated with positive structures, law, religion, judges, wealth, expansion.
And Mars. I'm guessing war.
Yep. Hot and dry, fiery red. Mars rules soldiers, surgeons because of the cutting war, conflict, fires, and even places like slaughterhouses. You immediately get a feel for the quality of the influence.
So this framework, this detailed map and these planetary characters, they used it for practical problems.
Yeah.
Like crime.
Absolutely. Solving theft was a big application. Lilly lays out a whole forensic procedure.
Okay, how do you find a thief with astrology?
Well, the thief is usually signified by the 7th house, the house of open enemies or others, or its ruling planet, or sometimes by a peregrine planet, one that's sort of weak or out of place, especially if it's in an angular house, a prominent position.
And the stolen goods.
That's the 2nd house possessions. Money, and also the moon is often involved.
Right. But there was something philosophical, too, wasn't there? About whether it was really stolen.
Ah, yeah, that's fascinating. If the planet ruling the goods, the Lord of the Second, is applying, moving towards the planet ruling the thief.
Applying means moving towards.
Yes, making a close aspect, like we're heading for a meeting. If that happens, Lilly says the goods did offer itself to the thief, meaning maybe you were careless, left it out, the opportunity presented itself. It wasn't entirely the thief's malicious intent.
That shifts the blame, subtly. It's not just who did it, but how did it happen?
Exactly. And they didn't stop there. They tried to get a physical description, rules to figure out the thief's age, sex, even their clothes.
Their front door.
Seriously?
Seriously, the moon's sign was key. If the moon was in a fixed sign, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, the thief's house probably had one main door. If it was in a movable sign, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, maybe a high door, or even a second smaller one, a full celestial APB. Okay, moving from crime to health. This was basically 17th century diagnostics.
In many ways, yes. The moon was again crucial, seen as the general carrier of influence, reflecting the patient's condition.
And there were rules for predicting, well, the worst.
Yes, quite stark ones. The sick person was likely to die if the lord of the ascendant, the planet ruling their life force, was combust.
Combust. We need to define that. Sounds bad.
It is bad. Combust means the planet is very close to the sun, within about 8.5 degrees. The idea is the sun's brilliance just burns up, completely overwhelms the planet's own power. So if your life force planet is
It's
combust,
basically extinguished.
grim.
Very. Or if the moon was badly afflicted by the planets ruling the sixth house, which is sickness, or the eighth house, which is death.
He also had a specific way to calculate the turning points in an illness, right? Critical days.
Yes, and he argued against the old, simpler method of just counting the 7th, 14th, 21st days. He called the true crisis a duel betwixt nature and the infirmity.
Yeah, and he insisted you had to calculate it precisely based on the moon's exact movement from the very moment the person first fell sick. Again, applying that astronomical precision to medicine.
Okay, and finally, the truly strange stuff. Witchcraft. That was the 12th house, right? With the enemies in prisons.
Correct. And Lilly provides a remarkably specific, almost bizarrely practical remedy if bewitchment is diagnosed.
I'm almost afraid to ask. What was it?
You needed to get a roof tile or some thatch from the house of the person you suspected was the witch.
Okay. Steal their roofing material. Then what?
You heat it red hot, then you pour the sick person's urine over the hot tile.
Urine on a hot tile.
Yes, and then you gather the ashes and bury them, specifically in the direction of the suspected witch's house or quarter.
So, fighting magic with hot, urine-soaked roof tiles buried strategically.
It sounds utterly bizarre to us, but it shows this very material, very directed approach to magic. You're physically taking something from the source, using a personal element from the victim, and symbolically directing the energy back. It combines physical action and symbolic intent.
Wow. Okay. So, summing this all up, what's the big takeaway for you listening now?
I think it's that Christian astrology wasn't just predicting the future. It was this incredibly detailed, complex system, almost like a cosmic spreadsheet. It mapped everything, fears, objects, politics, health, onto the heavens.
It gave people this intricate, rational-seeming framework to navigate a world that felt completely out of control, right? A way to put the chaos into boxes.
Exactly. It provided an actionable map for fate when everything else seemed unstable.
And there's one final point Lilly makes that feels incredibly relevant even now. It's about when the astrological reading is actually valid.
Ah, yes. His rule for timing the chart. He says the exact moment is that very hour and minute of hour when I break it open and perceive the intention of the querent.
So not just when the question is asked or written down, but when the astrologer understands it.
Precisely. The moment the astrologer's mind engages, focuses, and comprehends the core of the question, that's the moment the celestial snapshot is taken, the moment the universe, according to Lilly, provides the relevant answer.
The truth isn't just out there. It crystallizes in the moment of focused engagement between the learner and the information.
Which leads to a fascinating thought, doesn't it? If the knowledge you seek becomes potent, the moment you truly commit to understanding it.
What complex challenge are you, perhaps, holding at arm's length, waiting for that moment to fully engage, to finally break it open?
A powerful idea to consider.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.